There we go. Now it's being recorded. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I saw Vicky for a second and then she disappeared. I don't know what happened, but anyway, maybe she'll be back on.
There she comes.
Oh, there we go. Dale Parrish, are you just here to watch or did you have some stuff you want to talk about?
I'm just here to watch.
Okay.
No more need for those recorded meetings, Gary, when the boss is here.
You'll probably want to watch it later because these are pretty exciting, I'm telling you. Cheryl, you and I had a conversation earlier and I'd have made a note to myself about bottom up. Do you remember what that was? Oh, I know. About like school board and things like that. You want to talk a little bit about what your experience has been on the school board?
Well, it's not been a lot yet because I've only been to one meeting. We have some trainings coming up, but it's astounding that in the meetings that I've been in, that the superintendent thinks that the board works for him. And I was told multiple times that it's all about optics. So, and this is coming from the superintendent.
Mhm.
I just think it's critical for people to get involved in local government. Nothing's ever going to change if we don't do that. I mean, I can be on the school board. I'm only one voice. I have no power individually, but the rest of the board are yes people. So,
But Cheryl, what is the actual mission of the school board? Forgetting what the superintendent says, what do you view it as?
well, I think we're supposed to make sure that the money goes where it's supposed to go. We're supposed to monitor what the superintendent is doing and gauge his performance based on certain metrics, which I haven't yet to discover any metrics that we're supposed to be using. But I'm also in the information gathering stage. So it's going to be a while before I really know the ins and outs of the way things are right now. I can only talk about what I saw as I was, speaking at the school board meetings. And basically they sat there and just looked at you. Well, come to find out, there is a policy in the bylaws that you're not supposed to comment on patron comments. You're not supposed to engage with them at all. So I have yet to figure out why let people speak if you aren't going to address it. So yeah, it's unique.
So I think the real point that I wanted to make is that, we're looking at, Congress and things that go on in Washington that we'd like to change. But really, if we're going to change the country, we've got to do it from the bottom up, and school board is probably the best place to begin that because the left has infiltrated schools and they are largely in control of, curriculum and policy and so forth. And they're indoctrinating these kids that are growing up thinking socialism is a good thing. And that's just because they've been miseducated. And we need many more people who will do, what Cheryl has done and run for school board and start taking a role.
Well, I think we have to be more active as school board members too. I mean, it just seems like the board has been relegated to rubber stamp whatever the superintendent, says to do. And from what I understand, that's what they do. They tell you at the training for school board members. I'm connected with that Indiana School Boards Association now. I get emails about legislation going on at the State House. And there was one bill, and I can't even remember now what it was, but they were supporting it. And I was like, oh, no, this isn't something I can get on board with. But again, I'm still trying to figure out, what's what. But I think we have to have a more active role because a lot of the, and I think we have to connect with the State House legislators too, because a lot of what's coming into the schools is being dictated by the Department of Education, which I think should be absolutely eliminated. And they're dictating to these superintendents what they're supposed to do. And the
Mhm.
superintendents roll over and just do it.
Because they're receiving money.
Well, exactly. And we talked about that too.
When I was in Michigan, I went to a school board meeting and there were about 5 items on the agenda that essentially were, the state will give us $2 per student if we run XYZ program. The superintendent recommends it, all in favor on the board, and everybody voted yes, and they didn't discuss any of it. And there was like about 5 different things. And so at least there in Michigan, you know, the school board is not really in control. It's the people that are saying, hey, we'll give you money if you do this. And nobody wants to say no because the superintendent is trying to get all the money he can or she can to run the school district.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, as if you tuned in to the roundtable, you saw Dale talking about the text blast that's going to go out. Hopefully this will generate a lot of people in the LMT. And if we see people showing up there, and I noticed tonight there are several new ones, several that I need to contact as well. But we want to try to get on those quickly and make contact with people so that, you know, we make that connection quickly while people, it's fresh in their mind that they applied for something or
Do
wanted to
you
learn
want
more.
to, I've still got this up here. Do you want to let Dale go through it real quick again, or?
How many of you heard it already? I think, I don't know, Vicky,
Yeah.
did you hear it, Vicky?
Yes, only a couple haven't, looks like.
Yeah. So we will be talking about that.
Well, they
more,
can
I'm
see the
sure.
recording. I'll post the recording tomorrow, so.
Yeah, it's a very, I think an excellent program that, you know, people are going to get a text message. They look at click on that and it'll take them to a web page where they can get a little more information. Then they can drill down, learn about leadership opportunities, volunteer opportunities, community engagement. And Dale Tipton's phone number is on every page so that people want to talk to somebody and get information without having to spend all their time just on the internet. They can call Dale. And
if I happen to be unavailable, who can I call forward that to amongst this group?
if you're unavailable, you tell LW LW will get the calls.
He's going, holy smoke, this can't be.
He's saying, wait a minute, what did I get myself into here? So, but one of the things, Dale, certainly if people, you know, if they're in somebody's region and they want to talk some more about it, learn more about it, give them the names of and numbers of district captains, region captains, people that there are more people that can connect with them than just you. So
True. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
anyway. Questions or comments from anyone about what's going on or what's the people in the LMT? Are we attacking those volunteer activists, making contact with people that haven't been active?
I contacted all of the ones I had.
I
Yeah.
did notice our LMT is growing. As of this morning, I think we had 19 people on there. So that's an uptick. That is an
Yeah.
up.
Considerable.
Yeah.
I
had-
haven't been on there today.
I had 3 new ones and 2 were contacted and 2 are, should be off of there now.
Okay.
They've already been assigned.
I think
Good.
one of the things when the holidays are over and it's January, I think people are more inclined now to maybe be responsive. So hopefully we get a lot of new people. And it was mentioned on the roundtable about the surge. We should really push that and try to get people, mark that date on their calendar Some people may have to take a day off from work, but it would be terrific if we can get 100 people there.
I have a question. Do you want just COS people there or anybody can go?
Tell them to bring anybody and everybody they can bring with them.
Yep, yep.
Bring their kids, if they want to bring kids, very educational to go to the Capitol building and learn about what goes on there.
And I have been pleasantly surprised. Both of my Democratic representatives, the senator and the representative, both agreed to meet with me on that day. We'll
Good.
see if they stand me up, but they both agreed so far.
They'll probably send their interns.
That's okay. That's okay too.
Well, and that does happen. Yes, that will happen.
That
Yeah,
happened to us last year.
yeah.
Mhm.
Now, I've got invitations out to both of mine. I haven't heard back yet, so.
I've talked to John Ford. He's planning on meeting with me whenever I get up there.
He does talk to you, huh?
Yeah, he called me about term limits. And so I was talking with Marty and Gary earlier, and I think we're going to try to arrange a meeting with the three of us, Marty, me, and John Ford, because they're introducing legislation just for term limits. It's with that U.S. term limits group.
Right, right.
And, you know, and I think they got like 5 states on board. So it seems silly. It seems a little redundant for them to continue when we've already
Yeah.
got 19 states.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a show vote. That was one of those things that Kevin McCarthy agreed to, that they would hold a vote on term limits. But I think the chance of that passing is like one of
Well,
those.
so do I. They're not
That's-
going to do it on their own.
Yeah, that's in Washington that McCarthy said he would do that, but this is an Article 5 movement just for term limits.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are hoping, and this is something that we should be talking to anybody we know that's involved in that to try to get them to tell their leaders that they should join with us.
Yep.
Because they're a single subject and they're actively working this in many states, but really it's redundant and unnecessary when we were already carrying the ball. We've got 19 states to their 5.
That's where our old training officer went.
What's that group called?
Americans for
Well-
Prosperity. No, term limits.
Yeah,
US
US
term
term
limits.
limits.
That's where Rachel went.
Yeah, she's no longer with them.
She's with that group, with the term limits group.
I thought she left that. I thought she left them.
Oh, she may have. Yeah, I don't know, Dale, but
I don't know. I
spoke
don't know
to
where
her.
she is right now, Larry, quite honestly.
Yeah, I spoke to her a year ago at some length, and that's where she was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but back in I want to say 17, Ted Cruz ran this through the Senate, his committee.
Yeah.
It went nowhere. And they had, the term limits guy was very well spoken. I mean, he was excellent. I can't remember his name now. I kept the video. I don't know if I can still find it, but he was just really very well spoken and had his ducks in a row, but they're not interested. They don't want to stop the gravy train.
No, no.
Yeah. Well, I
no.
think we've got some good momentum though, don't you? I mean, as a group, I mean, we had some good legislative victories as far as, House and Senate people that will carry our message forward. I think
Yeah.
Michael Ferris coming back, I think is the big boost. Rick Santorum has been really effective, I feel.
Did you see him in Montana?
I did.
Oh, he did a good job, didn't he?
They just gave him 5 minutes, but he knocked it out of the park in that 5 minutes. I thought he
And the
did.
gent that went before him, that senator that's been pushing it for 2 years in Montana, was very well spoken too.
Yeah, he was.
And he's a
Yeah, great.
convert.
Yeah, great effort.
Yeah.
Well,
Mark
Rick said,
Levin mentioned us last night.
oh, did he?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mark Levin mentioned us last night.
Oh, did he?
hmm
Us who?
Us, COS, for term limits.
You specifically, Gary.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
he
asked
said-
Victoria Sparks to mention this too. He hasn't.
I had just
talked
watched,
about- He talked about the governors too, and it's a little concerning that China's going after our governors. So I wanted to bring up tonight, I had Lisa call Todd Rakito office to see about getting some Indiana constitutions. And they said they don't give them out to anybody. And they sent her like a PDF of one. And if we want it, we gotta print our own.
Yeah, I tried to
Really?
research that too, Vicky, after I talked to you, and there aren't many states that make pocket constitutions.
Vicky,
Well,
did you
36
contact,
pages.
did you get a hold of Jill Jones?
I did.
Did she have any sources?
She's the one that told me to get a hold of Rakita.
Oh, she did. Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Huh. Well, that's,
there's it's called Liberty Defense PAC in Bluffton, Indiana. They produce an Indiana pocket constitution.
There you go.
There's a QR code on the back. I'll see if I can post that in Slack. And
yeah.
we can take a look. Maybe we could do a bulk purchase from them or something.
Good.
Are
Speaking of
we moving from
materials, can I-
MailChimp? Are we moving from MailChimp as far as our blast email service is concerned?
Yes.
Yes.
Will that require everybody to reapply and all that stuff?
We don't know. We don't know the extent of what it's going to be involved at this point in time.
I sent out 6 blast emails to House districts in my region. And that one only went to 900 people, as opposed to the 1,500 that it was supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we probably want to let Brendan know if we think that there's issues with that, because she said that they were expecting a certain amount of problems, but they weren't sure how many.
I'm sure we'll hear some information on that in our state director call later this week. I hope so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question about materials that are supplied. You know, the little pamphlets and everything and the maps that show the states that have passed and they're on that glossy paper. I had one of my people go through there and he's like, well, this is wrong and that is wrong. This state has passed and it doesn't reflect that. So he was, just saying that you couldn't use that material at a fair or whatever, at a booth, because it's inaccurate.
Was it an old one?
Yeah, it's an old one. I just want to
Mhm.
know if there's any updated ones that show the current status that are mass produced, like the trifolds or I guess there's I think it's a trifold with information on COS.
But it changes
Yeah.
fairly frequently. You wouldn't want to get too many printed
I
up.
just didn't know if they were, like it shows who has endorsed COS and that kind of stuff. And I just wondered if it was going to be updated or if we're just using materials from the website.
Well, that weekly newsletter that they send out on Fridays from National down towards the bottom has a ton of information on progress in the different states and what's going on, and they update that every week.
Well, I know that, but I'm just thinking of things to hand out to people at fairs and
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
Cheryl, you might try to message Brenda on Slack and ask her, on particular items you're looking for, like that map. Otherwise, you can print them off the website if you want, but of course you only want to print a few because we expect that progress map to change in the next 60 days, hopefully.
Well, that's probably what I would do, but I just didn't want to start printing stuff if something else
Sure.
was available.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dale, I've got a question. whenever I first came on as a district captain, Paul sent me a couple of packets that were designed to be sent to your legislators.
Yeah.
Whenever you were introducing them to a convention of states, does something like that still exist for potential
No.
use during our meetings in March?
No, we stopped using that 34 ready plan.
Yes.
Yeah, we stopped using that.
I
I'd
have
like to put
several
together a-
packets. I have several packets, and we're not supposed to use those anymore?
Well, it was my understanding that we stopped using it. I don't, quite honestly, I haven't stayed on top of that. Is it still pertinent, do you think, Vicky?
Well, Paul gave them to me, I'm trying to think of how long ago it was, maybe 6 months ago?
Were they in a red folder, Vicky?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a couple.
I do too.
I got 4 or 5 of them.
I don't see a reason we couldn't continue to use those for the time being, although again, some of the printed material in those, you ought to check it, and make sure it's not out of date too far.
Yeah, I'm sure it's dated.
Does the COS store have materials, those handouts?
They do the pocket guides and those things which we can buy, but
Mhm.
they should be giving us somewhat of a supply of those. And I think maybe before we get to the really busy summer season with fairs and stuff, Dale, if you and your wife update that trifold, we can get some more of those printed.
Yeah, well, those, yeah, I mean, those now violate the COS branding standards. And so that whole thing would have to be reworked.
So are we not supposed to use those then?
Yeah, why? What's the problem there?
Well, they have unified their,
welcome.
they have unified their branding. And so there's certain images, even they've limited to like 4 different fonts that they want all of their printing to be done is. And like my wife, whenever she does things, she's kind of an artistic gal. And so she uses the fancy fonts and the things that look, pretty to the eye and all that kind of stuff. And they don't want that kind of stuff. They want the branding to be the same from coast to coast. And they've got it posted on their website, the things that you can and can't use. Because we went through that thing with Marty's flyer for the Road to Activism. And my wife basically designed the output for one, and then we had to go through and change the graphics and stuff so that it would meet their standards, or else they wouldn't pay for the printing.
Speaking of
Well-
that, all of our banners are outdated, right?
They were supposed to, you contact Brenda, she's supposed to send you new banners. You send in the old ones, I think.
Yep.
Is that including ones that we just got like last summer?
Yes,
Really?
Yeah.
unless it's one you made yourself, they won't replace those, but any of the ones we got from National that have the old logo and so forth, you send that, return that to Brenda, and they're supposed to send us a new one.
Now, you've got 3 options. You can burn it, you can send it back, or you can make it a picture for your wall and take a picture of it, or mark it out with a magic marker, take a picture of it, and then you'll get something to replace it, I guess.
Because mine isn't that old. I guess I got it last April.
What about the table covers? Are those, that logo is outdated too?
I don't know.
think-
I don't know the exact date that they did that, but
If it has a
I mean-
COS flag on it,
Yeah.
it's outdated.
I imagine your suit is pretty current, I think.
It was last summer, but
those may
Cheryl's
be
saying hers
okay.
was only April.
Yeah,
Mine's
I got a
outdated.
banner to use in the parade. And then I also got a tablecloth.
Yeah, I definitely check before you pitched anything.
Yeah, check and see if you can get those
Okay.
replaced, because they said they would replace them at their expense. The things that we already had. While I have everybody on here, I'm gonna alert you. This obviously is a Zoom meeting. We're limited to 40 minutes. Next week, I'm gonna try using Microsoft Teams.
Wow.
Same kind of thing, but I think if all of you can join it, we will try using that. It's not limited to 40 minutes. And I can record it. We can have, I think, some other flexibility with it. We'll see, but be looking for a different link using Microsoft Teams for next week.
So you'll
Microsoft
post it in Slack.
Yeah, I'll put it in Slack. Thomas, you haven't said a word?
I haven't said a word. Was I supposed to? Yeah, Microsoft Teams are real good. Me and my doctors use it.
Good to know. Good to know.
Oh, gee whiz. Me and Dal Parrish talked about this at my first meeting when I pulled out my 34 Ready catalogs. Oh, you can't even see it.
Here it is.
Now we
Yeah.
see.
This is the one I made up. This is my master. I have one of them, and we used to send out, what is it? CDs, DVDs.
Mhm.
I got a few of them sitting back in binders, waiting to hand out to unwilling representatives.
So the main thing I think in that packet was like a pocket guide and a couple of, our 8.5 by 11 flyers. And then that CD, and we don't really need the CD anymore. Nobody probably really looked at it anyway, but some paper stuff and, the person's business card and that, bend their ear. I just got
You-
the warning to end, this got to end in 10 minutes. So.
Well, I was
This-
trying to show seal. Is that outdated?
Banner, I can't tell.
Yeah, I know.
Too much
How about
glare.
that? How about that?
No, that's up
that
to
one-
date, I think.
I think that's current.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's current.
good. Okay, good.
The,
Good, good.
the banner is the one that has the
States.
states written across in the stripes and USA instead of cost.
That,
This
that's what I
says
have.
COS and
Gary,
the-
I gotta go. I gotta go. Sorry.
Okay, thanks for dropping in.
Bye, Dale.
See you,
I know.
Dale.
The old ones have USA here.
Yeah.
Instead
Oh,
of
yeah.
COS.
Okay, so then mine's right. Mine's okay then.
Yep.
I think mine are too. I
Okay,
think I've
good.
got the COS.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
got it in the last year or two, it's probably the new one. Those lapel pins that I gave out to some of you, I bought those in Williamsburg and they were practically giving them away and I didn't know it at the time, but those had why they were giving them away, but it's the old logo. They're still good. You could still wear them. But anyway, I guess, keep on top of the LMT. That's the main thing we need to be working on. And try to build connections with your district captains and recruit more.
Buy more.
Yeah. And I just finished my second round of calls I'm doing for my Telepatriot mission. And so in my third one, the focus is going to be on Telepatriot. So everybody that I talk to, if they're not a Telepatriot volunteer, I'm gonna ask them to be one or consider being one. So
Good.
if you hear any of your people complaining, you can know it's just me out trying to stir things up.
You're very convincing, Dale.
Yeah, I hear you.
So Dale, tell me about how many of the people do you make calls to? What percentage of them do you get to speak to somebody?
Oh, I'd say probably 15%.
Okay,
It's a lot like Telepatriot, but the difference is I tell people if you're doing purely Telepatriot calls like to another state, you don't know anybody.
mhm,
But at least with these people, I know they're part of the state organization. So I kind of feel like I have a relationship with them, even though I don't necessarily know them. And so a lot of those folks, I've talked to them at least twice now. And so, they're getting to the point they're sort of getting, some of them at least are getting familiar with my name and what I'm doing and all that kind of stuff. And I've had some decent conversations with people that I didn't have before. And so I think it's kind of an ongoing thing. So I'm trying to complete one mission every quarter. So this one's got, I think it's got 182 people in it. So I call, 5 a day or so. Some days I'll miss, other days I may call a few more, but just part of my normal daily thing.
Sounds
But,
good.
It's been, I think I've enjoyed it. I think it's increasing the relationships, and plus I'm getting some word out. The first one that I did was an introduction where I just said, here I am. I'm the state grassroots coordinator. If you've got any questions or complaints or problems, call me. And then the second one that I did was all about, are you using the COS Action app and Slack? And if you're not, this is how you get them. And I told them about Steve Perrine doing the training for Slack and all that kind of thing. So my next one is going to be Telepatriot focused. So we'll see. So I want to encourage all you guys as leaders in the state, if you're not Telepatriot people and members of the national team, you should probably become such, make a few calls, and that way you could tell all the people that you talk to that, hey, you're a part of it. They should probably be too.
Hey, I made some calls to Arizona,
Not good for you.
but let me see, just hold on a minute. I have to, but this one woman, she's depressing.
Why are you sharing a depressing message, Thomas?
Well, I'm going to share this. I was talking to her and she says, I don't know whether I can do any of that. Tell if, are you a member of cause? Wait, yes. I don't remember when I joined, but she says she losing her house. Her husband's deathly ill. She's on heart failure and she's going to be out on the street. Now, you want to know who's putting her out on the street? Come on.
Ooh,
I know you're going to tell us.
quickly before the thing ends,
Her daughter.
her daughter.
Daughter.
Oh,
Man.
Daughters had the father sign the house over to her.
Wow.
Oh.
wow.
Let that be a warning to all you people.
Just,
Lucky
Don't
her.
trust your kids.
Yeah.
I just want to point that one out.
That power of attorney is a pretty serious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
I hope you comforted her in her miseries. That's terrible. Really.
Yeah, but I did. That's the type of thing you just don't know what to say.
Gary, that woman's got his address and she's packing her bags. for
She's
Indiana
coming to
right
your
now.
house.
No. I gave him your address.
Okay. I've got a cousin in Arizona. I'll send him there.
Gary,
Well-
I've got a meeting Saturday with my region. I think there are 8 of us, counting myself. I
Good.
missed the first part of the meetings. Or anything that you said there that or anybody else that I need to pass on to my crew?
I would say the surge and be involved in Telepatriot.
We're trying to go down Thursday. That's not Thursday, obviously, but I've been talking with Marty. Marty's going to be there. Dan Stock's going to be there. They're trying to do some plant some seeds on rule changes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I wonder how Marty and Dan, the last time I talked to Dan, he was trying to build a coalition of like-minded groups to help put some pressure on them about those rule changes. I wonder how many people they've got to join them.
Did you see the YouTube video that he and Micah Beckwith and another gent made on that?
Mm-mm.
No,
I'll put the link on Slack. It's a
Please.
very good video. It's about 30 minutes, 3 of them. They're a super job. I think it's something we can send on to other people.
great.
Okay.
Mike is awesome. I did a
It was very
podcast
well
with
done.
him.
This young man
Mhm.
that they had with him, I forget his name. He's with another group in Noblesville. He's very well spoken, very well spoken.
Good.
There are 3
Yeah.
rule changes they'd like to press this onto the legislators. Senate and the House. I assume both. They're pretty much the same in both the House and the Senate.
Yeah. We will,
Like-
that's one of the things we'll be talking about at the surge, but it's good to be pushing that to our own legislators as we can in the meantime, that we think these rule changes need to be made. So, yeah,
Looking for somebody to carry the water that's willing to put their neck out, maybe somebody senior that's not afraid, well-established. They know they're going to get reelected.
Well, it's just bringing the whole process out of the darkness and into the light because, I mean, there's
That's why
too
we should
of the stuff
send
that
this
happens.
video. This video is very informative. I think if you send it to people within your house districts or within your regions, wake a lot of people up.
Huh,
okay. Yeah, post that link.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe they can put that in the newsletter or something.
I don't know what they're planning on doing with it. I don't know who made it. I just saw it was going to happen.
Okay. Well, we're under a minute, folks, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in and thanks for all you do for Convention Estates. And I will look forward to seeing you here next Monday. Call me if I can help you in the meantime.
Okay,
Very good.
Thanks.
bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.